Marsh. I'm your worship assistant this morning, and I'd like to welcome all of you online as well. Thank you for being with us. So welcome to the light and love that is Unity of Lawrence. I hope you've had a wonderful week and enjoyed the sun and the rain and the beautiful spring sights we have to see. And happy Pride Month for those of you who are... Woo! I like to joke and say here we're okay with heterosexuality because I'm a heterosexual person. Anyway, in Unity we begin everything with prayer. So let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us and listen to this prayer. With full hearts and open minds, we gather today to accept the endless possibilities of peace on earth and peace in our hearts. We acknowledge the existence of pain and injustice in the world, but we also acknowledge limitless love in our limitless being. We welcome our divine inheritance as co-creators. We know that we are already standing in the light of love, of healing, and of transformation, and so it is. Amen. So our prayer chaplains are trained to hold sacred space with you and pray one-on-one. If there's anything in your heart at all to be held in prayer, please see Erin. Where'd she go? There she is. Up here in the front of the sanctuary after today's service. Our chaplains will also pray for you during the week. Just place a purple prayer request in the wooden box outside of the office. So those little purple pieces of paper in front of you. And remember that all prayers are kept confidential unless you would like them shared with the congregation. So let's join together with Holly and sing Something Wonderful. Please, if you're able.
Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, feel it in my soul. I feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. And let's share some love and light with each other. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, feel it in my soul, feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Oh, this love inside, we can't let it shine. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Yay. So I heard a little feedback that we are one of the most beautiful sounding, singing congregations our speaker today has ever heard. So I don't know if she's looking for, like acceptance early on or... No, she's great. I can't wait. Okay, but first, let's do our unity intentions. So please affirm with me our founding principle together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And our Unity of Lawrence vision statement together. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And our Unity of Lawrence mission statement together. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And it is with great joy that I ask Joy Zimmerman to come on up here and share her beautiful music with us.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you to each of you for the warm welcome this morning. It's such a delight to be back with you on such a lovely morning. When I was a kid, I remember hearing about the biblical concept of Jubilee. Every 50 years, slaves were freed and debts were forgiven. And in my little kid brain, and my brain right now, I wondered, why couldn't we live like that all the time? So I wrote a song called Jubilee. I want to live the Jubilee. What am I going to do to make it so? I want to live with justice overflowing. What am I going to do to make it so? Each of us has heard the call. Each of us more gifts to share. I want to live the Jubilee. What am I going to do to make it so? I want to live the good news. What am I going to do to make it so? I want to live with mercy everywhere. What am I going to do to make it so? Each of us has heard the call. Each of us more gifts to share. I want to live the good news. What am I going to do to make it so? Sisters, brothers, you are needed. Sisters, brothers, heed the call to bring shalom, to be shalom, to live shalom right now. I want to be where all are welcome. What am I going to do to make it so? I want to live with grace abundant. What am I going to do to make it so? Each of us has heard the call. Each of us more gifts to share. I want to be where all are welcome. What am I going to do to make it so? Someday children will all be loved. Someday hunger will be the good news. What am I gonna do to make it so? I wanna live with justice overflowing. What am I gonna do to make it so? Each of us has heard the call. Each of us more gifts to share. I wanna live the good news. What am I gonna do to make it so? What am I gonna do to make it so? Hey, thank you so much for clapping. I have never had people continue through the whole song, so thank you.
Thank you, Joy. That was so much fun, so meaningful. So, Bethany Shipley is a speaker, coach, and podcast host who helps entrepreneurs and individuals tap into the power of their personal brand by aligning with their authentic selves. A sales team builder turned purpose coach, Bethany is passionate about helping people live their most vibrant, inspired lives. She lives in Kansas City with her husband Eli and their 4 children. Welcome, Bethany.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what a great space. I had no idea coming here. I really had no idea the vibe, and I shouldn't be surprised, but I am pleasantly surprised just coming in here and everything from the music to the energy. Like, it's just amazing. And Erin's prayer with the little circle of, those who are helping with today, she said just something so profound and so beautiful. And it was like, we honor the humanness as well. And I just appreciate that, to be in a place where humanness is okay, and not to be in a place where we have to be so perfect, because it's just not possible. And to pretend that way is just a highway to burnout. So thank you guys for creating that space. My last name is actually Shipley. And so if you want to search for my podcast or anything, you'll want to put it in that way. And that's totally fine. Not worried about it at all. Just wanted to clarify before I get started. Bethany Shipley. But Ship is just kind of an awesome last name. When I met my husband, I was like, yes, Ship is like so fun. I live in Kansas City, and in 2021, my husband and I heard from the neighbors that there was going to be some land for sale, and it happened to be on the drive between my parents' old house when we were dating when I was in high school and his parents' house. So we would pass by that plot of land that became for sale in 2021, and we kind of got word, decided to snatch it up. An old farmhouse, over 100 years old, same family that lived in it the whole time. And during that time, we were living in a tiny camper, not quite a pop-up camper, but in order to rehab the house, we did a little switcheroo, sold the house, lived in a camper, as you can imagine, with 4 young children. At the time, ages 6, 4, 2, and 0. And it was tight. And at the time, my little baby, who was 0, started having some health issues, which kept her up at night, which kept me up at night. It definitely brought me into my humanness, because lack of sleep does that. And I found myself having a internal search for some new philosophies about things that were no longer working for me. I don't know if you resonate with this. Like, you have these philosophies that work for you until they don't. Parenting was one for me. I knew so much about parenting before I had kids. And then I had kids, and I learned some things. I look back on my Facebook memories. The time hops keep me humble, because I remind myself of what I once believed. And so in that search for some new philosophies about things that weren't working for me, I found my way into the back pew of Unity headquarters in literally 0.9 miles away from our new house. I'm like, what is this Unity? It's so interesting, so different than the way I grew up. And I found myself, their service starts at 10:30. Can I just say thank you for the 11 o'clock start? Totally vibe with that. 10:30 is not so bad either. And so I found myself sneaking in the back at 10:31, and then the service would end at 12 o'clock, so I'd sneak out at 11:59. I was not there to make friends. I was not there to volunteer. I was not looking to engage. I was desperate for some new philosophies on life. And one of the philosophies that was so challenging for me up until that point, so this is 2021, so we've kind of gone through as a culture this huge change in 2020. One of the philosophies that I was looking for new thoughts on was the idea of purpose. And up until that point in my life, I had thought that there was somehow going to be this 10 commandments of like my life, that if I achieved them, then I would have met my purpose. I would have achieved it. So I was out there looking for that. And I was looking for it in terms of what to study and in terms of like what I talk about, and as silly as it is, even like how I build my social media, like what should I be talking about to build a purpose? And what wasn't working for me anymore was that I felt like the curriculum I had been given in life was asking me to be instead of do. For someone who's finding their purpose in a list of do, you could imagine how challenging that was. So baby's not sleeping, I start having health issues, my eyes swelled up randomly, not so randomly, due to who knows what, to the point I couldn't see. And then I couldn't look at my computer, and then I couldn't work. And what do you do when you can't do what makes you you? You lay on your bed. I laid on my bed, and I cried, and I said, okay, my vices are stripped. I don't have anywhere to go. And I started seeing these little bugs that we call bees everywhere. And I know this is a woo-woo crowd, so I can tell you this in confidentiality. I started seeing bees everywhere, and to the point where bees in my vehicle when I got back from grocery shopping, bees outside my window, bees swarming the camper. And I'm like, every time I see these bees, I feel, is it really possible that I could be getting a message to bee? Now, like, I know that sounds so funny, and at the same time, here's what was hard for me about this. I felt like if I were to just be, I would sit on a couch, watch Netflix, and I was really scared of not doing. I thought if I gave myself a break to just be, I would never do, and then I would amount to nothing, because my current philosophy was to be. To be valuable is to do. And so I spent the year sneaking in the back of the Unity chapel and hearing new philosophies. And what I love about Unity, one of the many things, is that they don't really praise people for knowing the answer. And I find a lot of solace in that. I don't need to come to you today with the answer. I can just tell you where I'm at. And you can try it on, and if it works for you, great, and if it doesn't, great. And I think it goes in line with Unity's principles of have you ever heard each individual is born blessed as a unique expression of love energy. That was really something that got me going, something that made me think, okay, what does that mean in terms of being and doing and who am I and all of that. So here's my philosophy on purpose. You can take it, you can leave it, you can try it on, see what you think. And this is where I'm at. And I'm also open to upgrading this philosophy if someday my experiences lead me to that. Here's my philosophy on purpose, but I do want to say that it comes with a warning label. And the warning label is that it sounds like the cover of an inspirational notebook that you may have gotten when you were 12 years old for Christmas. You see those notebook covers that, if applied in a different way, not all who wander are lost. And it's like great messages, but also like a little ambiguous. So this sounds like that, but if you'll hang with me, I'll make it relevant. So here's my philosophy on purpose as it stands today. Your purpose isn't something that you need to do. Your purpose is an energy that you get to personally have when you are living in your authenticity. And I define authenticity kind of honestly as being connected to the person you came here to be. And that journey of learning what that looks like is a lot easier said than done. I think, just be yourself. Well, what exactly does that mean? That takes work. And if you've been on that journey, you know that. understanding your values, like the ones that are wired in your DNA, understanding how you particularly like to feel on any given day, understanding your style of expression. All of those things go into being who you are. And here's where the getting gets good, as they would say. From being naturally comes doing, because here's what I found in my search for who I be. I know. Here's what I found is that my highest value, spiritually defined as abundance, really lights me up. That's the word that I connect with my highest value, abundance. I have worked on definition for that, what it means for me. I want to live in a state of inspiration. That's personally what I feel I was wired to feel most of the time. And my natural style of expression is vibrant. So when I'm living in that state of being, I don't actually sit on the couch and watch Netflix. Instead, I'm activated to be doing exactly what I believe I'm actually here to do, even though that comes secondary to being. And so all I had to really do was realize doing comes from being, and it's not the other way around. And that freedom is so palpable in my life. I was even listening to, I was reading some of my journal entries earlier this morning, from the time where I was in the camper and struggling. And it was just so emotional for me because this journey has been so incredible and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And also, it's been challenging. There have been parts of that have been really challenging. So here's what I think is so incredible. When Unity talks about, and speakers in Unity and trainers in Unity talk about, you are an unrepeatable expression of love energy. What I would love for you to leave today with is a little bit more clarity about what that means for you. And I think about this again sounds kind of like in kindergarten when you learn that there's only one of your thumbprint, right? It's like, oh yeah, I know there's only one of me. But think about it in terms of how intricate your design is, from even the most specific ways that you perceive the world. Your taste buds are in different places on your unique tongue. So the way you taste a strawberry, and although all strawberries are different because they all get different levels of sunlight and different nutrients, the strawberry lands differently for you than it would for me, literally just because of the design of our mouth. That's crazy. The way that you see, I have a theory that people see colors differently. The way that you perceive the world through your senses, your eyesight is unique to you. So your perception of the physical world is a unique experience that I believe only you are getting to live. This is where, to me, Unity's principle of individual expression is so powerful, because when we understand we're getting a unique perspective from our senses, but also the way our brains are wired are picking up on different things. So maybe like somebody would come up here and see a cord, and immediately their brain would notice a cord, and they would want to maybe wrap it up in a really tight little circle. That would be their brain processing the world in a specific way, although some other people would never notice that. Or how many of you go into a house and you see the picture frame a little bit crooked on the wall? Yeah, okay, some. I don't. I'm perceiving the world differently than you. When we tap into that, the fact that you like chess, the board game chess, or the fact that you don't, or the fact that you love writing, or the fact that you don't, the fact that you do all of these things that are uniquely wired as you, is a personal gift that you've been given, and I've been given, to literally live in our divine expression. What I love about this is when we get connected to our individualness, we can then go out into the world, and we get to live that by expressing our unique perspective to the world around us. And I think that's where co-creating becomes palpable, and realizing, oh my gosh, have you ever heard the theory that a butterfly flap can influence the weather around the globe? Now, on Instagram, there's this viral thing right now that's like, the butterfly effect is weird because if I didn't work here, then I wouldn't have met them, then I wouldn't have been here, and kind of traces back this chain of events. I just want you to imagine how powerful it is if the butterfly flap can affect. How does holding your shoulders back with confidence affect? How does breathing with passion affect? How does giving a hug affect? How does making eye contact affect? So yes, it's a gift to live I'm going to call it our magic. It's a gift to live our magic because our personal experience is better when we don't fight who we are. But also, on the other side, the experience of all of us is better when you live in your magic. Because not only are you then lit up and alive in your life, you're also giving your own version of the butterfly flap all around you. And I think it's untapped. The power that each individual person brings. And one of the philosophies that was not working for me, what I used to do was I would kind of see people who had a lot of influence up here. I don't like this about my past, but it's just true. I'd see people who had a lot of influence, maybe followers, maybe email list, maybe whatever, influence. And then people who had maybe less people in their influence at a lower place. And I don't like that I felt that way. But the truth is that when I got connected to this, I realized there's really no way to measure influence because we're all influencing each other. And wouldn't I be so silly as to not realize the power that my children's teachers have on them, the 18 of them, sitting in their classrooms day after day, in front of a teacher who's either living her magic or not, either connected to her personal gifts or not. That influence isn't just measured by what my kids go on to do. It's measured in the classroom, in that moment. And I feel so passionate about electricians being lit up in their life, realizing the power, literally, I didn't plan that, it just happened, literally the power that they have when they bring their magic to the world around them. My husband has a handyman company in Kansas City. He has so much personal magic that he gets to give to every house he goes to, and they get to access him and his gifts. I couldn't tell you what his highest value is or what his personal style of expression is or his preferred state of being. I don't know those words. He would have to do it, but I've felt the feeling of being around him. I felt what it's like when he's in his giftedness, and every single one of you going around and giving hugs this morning, that is literally it. And so I think, even though it's some of the hardest work we can do is to commit to being ourselves. And I used to think, do I have time to go into this? I think so. I'll go quickly. I used to think that being authentic meant showing up however I show up. I woke up this way, and I'm being authentic, and I'm showing you here how I woke up. I don't think that's true anymore. My new philosophy on authenticity is knowing your magic and then being committed to live in it. When you can realize my job here is to be me, and the me that was sent here, I'm not saying is happy all the time, but I'm living in a state of abundance. I'm living inspired, and I'm living expressing vibrantly. The work to get back there is worth the work, because then my own individual butterfly flap, my own butterfly effect, it's just really, really incredible to imagine, and as is yours. So this is the idea of living your light, the power of individual expression. I appreciate you letting me share that with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany, for your magical message full of invitation for each of us. I'm going to share a tune that comes to us from the 1700s, early 1700s, written by a blind Irish harper in Galway County with the name of, let's see if I can get it right, Turlo O'Callaghan. So straight from him is Fanny Power.
I invite you to close your eyes and breathe in the oxygen that is a result of sunlight commingling with millions of plants and the ocean doing her thing. All organisms playing their part in this beautiful, awe-inspiring ecosystem that we get to live in and be a part of. And as you breathe out, you naturally become a part of Mother Earth's breathing. More powerful than even the flap of a butterfly wing, your very breathing carrying your energy into the world in ways that could never fully be measured or understood. Your energetic state being both influenced by and influencing the world around you. To breathe in is to assume connectedness. To breathe out is to assume influence. And to breathe at all is to assume intentionality from being created and saying yes to co-creating. As we welcome our divine role here, we accept and celebrate our own personal design, becoming alert to our divine assignments through our personal and authentic desires. Our decisions filtered by our values and our expressions in alignment with our designed personalities. We are here and we are honored to be here.
When I read the description of what Bethany was going to discuss with us this morning and share with us, I immediately thought of my song, If Your Life Were a Movie. In my book club, one of the members just posed that question to us. If your life were a movie, would you be interested in staying for the whole thing? And I thought about the invitation. It's an interesting question, right? And I thought about the invitation in Bethany's message, sort of like a canvas, right? In some ways, our lives are a blank canvas, and embracing our creativity and our individuality and the abundance that she spoke of. So I offer If Your Life Were a Movie. If your life were a movie, would you stay for it all? Watching the drama until curtain call. Would you follow the actors deep in the night to see if it works out right? If life were an ocean, how might you make it across the depth of the waves, the salt and the cost? Diving in riptides, sailing on through, your story comes into view. Our lives are a canvas. What do they portray? Every moon, every wish, sent on its way. Twists and turns all fade away. True north always remains. If your life were a song, would you sing to the end, listening intently? Each chorus befriend, your verses and chapters inspire the muse. New plot lines await their debut. Our lives are a canvas. What do they portray? Every moon, every wish, sent on its way. Twists and turns all fade away. True north
Much Joy. Thank you so much, and thank you, Bethany, so much. It's been a powerful morning. We are yet again blessed. So as the ushers come forward for our time of thanks, I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And while the love offering's being collected, let's join Holly in singing, I Am Loved.
I've actually got a different song here for you. Sorry about that. So just listen with your eyes closed or as you're able. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Here's our prayer of thanks. Please listen. We are grateful and we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth, returning again and again. And so it is. Amen. And now for our opportunities. First of all, a special welcome to our guests today. We're so glad that you joined us today. If you'd like more information about Unity of Lawrence or the Unity movement, there are welcome packets in the foyer. And Holly has an announcement, an invitation for us today.
This afternoon at 3 o'clock, the Heartland Men's Chorus is going to be doing a performance, Music from the Heart, at the Plymouth Congregational Church on Vermont and 9th Street. Tickets are $25, so definitely a great show if you want to see that.
Okay, thank you, Holly. And as already has been announced, Kathy Moreland has resigned as our office coordinator. And yes, we will be punishing her at a later date, but it's all good, it's all good. But anyway, there is a job opening, obviously, and it's effective July 7th. And so we are going to have information on how to apply in the constant contact email that you should receive each Monday morning. If you're interested in being on our email list and getting a weekly email about what's going on, there's a sign-up sheet out front. But the information on how to apply will be in tomorrow's constant contact. And there also is a job description that is going to be posted in the foyer. So this is a 10-hour-a-week or so position. So it's a part-time job, but if you or anyone you know is interested in it, please head to that information soon, because the board is going to start reviewing applications this Wednesday evening. And we're going to review them and pursue someone until the position is filled. Okay? All right. Sunday Lunch Bunch is meeting at Zen Zero today. So you can join, everyone's welcome for food and fellowship. Please fill out the survey that's also in constant contact from the board. There's also hard copies available if you prefer that. So we haven't done this in about a year and a half, and it's super helpful. We really direct how we navigate things based on your feedback. And it'll take you anywhere from, if you fly through it and just answer like the multiple choice, you can be done in 5 to 10 minutes. But if you add some of your own extensive thoughts, then it would take you a bit longer. But nonetheless, it's all very, very helpful feedback. And we're going to start tallying those in just a couple of weeks. So please do that. It really is super helpful. And remember, open meditation is Tuesdays at 6:30 right here. Everyone is welcome. Our men's group gathers on Thursdays at 7 p.m., bringing those who identify as male and non-binary people together in a safe place where they can learn to open their hearts and minds and truly be heard by others in an accepting environment. Join Francesca for Italiano classes. I know no Italian except ciao. This Friday at 5:30. So please see Francesca with any questions you have. So next Saturday, June 7th, is the Pride Parade, and we are going to participate together. So there's a sign-up sheet in the foyer. Very important to sign up there because more details are coming this week via email, okay? I know we're gathering at 9:30, but we don't know the gathering place just yet. So anyway, so make sure we have your email information. And then join us next Sunday when Diane Silver is going to bring us the message, Prayer as Our Compass, and special music will be with Chris Hudson. So it's going to be another great one. And remember, second Sunday potluck. So now it's time to rise together and sing the peace song.
Let there be peace, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant